On this episode, we kick off a new series called Resort Wars, where Disney resorts go head-to-head and only one walks away with the crown. Today's August 19th, 2025, and this is episode 799 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I'm your host, Jeremy Stein, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey guys, make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic, and on TikTok at MSM Podcast.
Planning a trip to Disneyland or Walt Disney World can be overwhelming and at times just downright frustrating. But don't worry, because Mouse Dining removes the frustration of booking Disney dining reservations, alerting you when they spot availability for your desired restaurant, date, meal, and time. Visit msmfriends.com to use this free service. Are you ready for your bucket list trip? Our trusted partner, MEI Travel, will handle the planning so you can focus on the memories. They offer free vacation planning services and have nearly 20 years of experience creating memorable vacations. Visit mainstmagic.com/travel for a fee-free, no-obligation quote today.
And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. Wow, our next one is 800. That's insane.
Yay.
Congratulations.
Yay. Congratulations to you. Yeah, make sure you tune in on Friday. We have episode 800, which will be a lot of fun. We recorded on property around multiple deluxe resorts. So when it comes out, we'll be at Fort Wilderness at the cabins, DVC cabins. So very excited for that. But speaking of resorts... We're going to start a new series today called Resort Wars. And this came from an idea, I believe it was Instagram. And I don't have a lot of other information, so I apologize. But I noted this somewhere. It was from Tay Beautiful. And they had recommended that we do something called Resort Wars. And so this is what we came up with. So this will be a new series where we'll take two individual resorts and kind of pit them against each other. Two similar resorts, like in the same level.
When Jeremy said it to me this morning, I was like, well, it's not like we could do like a poly and a all-star.
Correct. Yeah.
So, and then when he said that, I was like excited. And then now we're going to do today Pop Century and Art of Animation. I'm even actually more excited.
Yeah. And I mean, they're both value resorts.
Quote,
and they're cool because they're very different value resorts,
yes,
which we'll obviously talk a lot about. But they're right there. You know, they're connected literally by a bridge, the Generation Gap Bridge and Hourglass Lake right there at the Skyliner station. So we are going to have basically, there's 6 areas that we're going to pit them up against each other. And then we'll see if we can come up with a vote, a collective vote, you and I, on which one we think is better. That'll take the point. And then we have a 7th category tiebreaker that will go out to the Main Street Magic community. We'll do it either way, but if we need it as a tiebreaker, then we can do that as well. So we could do it one of two ways. Do we want to do, we've done in the past sometimes, do we want to agree on each one, or is this going to be in the end which one I think wins and you think wins, and we do the points separate? Or do we need to come to an agreement?
I think we'll come to an agreement,
much.
I mean, if all of a sudden we kind of don't on the first or second one, then we'll split it. But I think we will.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's give a little bit of background here on Pop Century. This opened back in 2003. This has standard and preferred locations, but all of the rooms are the same, basically, the layout and all. This has the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s sections, and it's that, pop culture theming and environment everywhere. Right now they're renovating the lobby, and they've actually got the whole wall covered up with all the shadow boxes throughout the decades. So don't know if we're just getting, refreshed paint and that type of stuff. And then there are 2,880 rooms at Pop Century.
That's a lot.
Which makes it the largest, as far as rooms, the largest individual resort at Disney World. The only thing, if you collectively said all stars together were one big giant like complex, the three of them, they would obviously beat it. Okay. But yeah, so very, very big. Of course, has a Skyliner station that it shares there, right at Generation Gap Bridge with Art of Animation. Now, Art of Animation opened in 2012. This has the standard rooms, which are the Little Mermaid theme rooms.
Yep.
But then we also have the family suites.
Yes.
That includes Cars, Lion King, and Finding Nemo.
Mm-hmm.
This is giant Disney animation icons, right?
Yes.
All over the place.
Yes. Super cool.
And each section is themed to that, obviously, from your Little Mermaids and Lion Kings, Nemo, Cars. There are 984 standard rooms, which are the Little Mermaid. There are 1,120 of the family suites.
Oh, wow. That's actually a lot of suites.
It's a ton of suites.
Especially when your suites include, not only can you sleep 6 people in beds, but you have 2 full bathrooms.
Yeah. The suites are incredible.
Yeah.
And it's, you were just saying last episode, I think it was the last one, we were talking about let's convert more value space to some suites, you know, because not only we were talking about them having them at All-Star Music, and this was like that question about, I think it was last one about, you know, the generational kind of family trip that's coming, that multi-generational, how do you get them there?
Right.
Like more affordable family suites. Put them at the other All-Stars. You could put them at Pop as well.
Yeah.
They won't have that same layout and all as, you know, the 2 bathrooms like this, but no, because you have 2 bathrooms at the All-Star Music family suite, don't you?
I believe so.
Yeah. So that it has 2 full baths too, I believe.
Because I think it has one in the main room and then
one is a straight up standard room, and the other one is a slightly converted kind of standard room that becomes like a master bedroom. But anyway, if you didn't know, Art of Animation originally was going to be Pop Century Part 2 in a sense. It was going to be the legendary years. So what we're in now, the Pop Century that we have, is the classic.
Right.
It was going to be the legendary. So it was going to be 1900, early 1900s. So 10, 20s, 30s, 40s, and all of that.
That'd have been interesting.
It would have been super cool. Yeah. So that got delayed and shut down and all due to 9/11, sat for a little bit. I mean, there are photos out there of the giant the 20 out front, 30, 40 and stuff.
Telling me that. I think you've shown me pictures as well.
It's eerie. It's pretty cool, but it's just like shells of buildings and starting to get some decor. So would have been very cool to see what that could have looked like. But instead we got Art of Animation.
Yeah.
And we got the family suites, which are definitely much needed.
Do you think they would have had still the family suites in the years? Basically?
Yes, I think so.
But what do you
only
think
because, and again, I'd have to go back and dig through all that research. Because unless they went back and converted all those buildings, they would have already been set for that stand. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't think they were built. I think they were already built for an interior entrance to the rooms, which is much more of a hotel setup as opposed to motel, like all the other values. And then the room layout, since it isn't just 2 standard bays with basically a wall knocked out in the middle or anything. I feel like they were going to be built for that.
That'd have been neat.
It would have been really cool. It'd have been so cool to have seen the theming and all throughout here and what they would have done.
Yeah.
So, and again, I'm sure there's a lot of that back. You know, we could always, I feel like it would have to be much more of a visual series if we ever decided would be some of these histories like this. This might be fun. I'd love to bring back our monthly live show. It's so hard to do in a consistent manner with our scheduling and especially the way Rhonda works and then us leaving and stuff. But I'd like to come back and do that, and it'd be cool if maybe we start doing things like this where it could be an extension of a show like this where we go, hey, let's do a live show, but it's going to be a little bit about the history of Art of Animation.
Right.
And we'll pull up some pictures and stuff like that. So if anybody thinks that sounds cool, let us know. But let's go into our battle rounds, and round 1 is theming and atmosphere while we're talking about it. Of course, Pop Century, it's bright, it's fun, it is decades from the past. Like, what are some of your favorite Pop Century theming and props, you know? Because not only do you have the lobby, which takes you through all the decades, but then each area is themed to a decade, you know?
Yeah. Golly, now I'm trying to think because they have giant still, like, the icons, like the Walkman, right?
Yeah,
and
it's
like,
all of that.
Yeah.
There's like a big laptop that's open, and I believe it's open to like Netscape. is the website.
And then
stuff.
isn't there? Am I thinking correctly? Isn't there Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head? Okay, I'm like, am I at the? My brain's like thinking to try to tell you which one I like, because isn't there like a foosball?
Yeah.
Court. Yeah. Okay.
It's very easy to blend Pop Century with the 3 All-Stars based on their different theming.
Yes, it is. That's
very, very easy.
My brain, I was like, all right, let me make sure I'm in the right.
Yeah. And then what's cool, like while we talk about these theming a little bit, is so there's a trail. It's a running, walking trail that goes all the way around Hourglass Lake, and it goes through both Pop Century and Art of Animation. Mm-hmm. Pop Century has marquees for every decade, and it will tell you some history and cool facts about that decade. When you get over into the Art of Animation side, around that walkway, there are little marquees or signage that are behind the scenes animation type stuff. Did you know in Lion King it took whatever, X number of days and animators to do the wildebeest scene or something like that. So cool. All those types of things. So you think about that when you're thinking about the decor.
Yeah. I like Pop Century because of all the, like 50, 60, I like them all. Mm-hmm. I guess obviously more of my favorites are more of the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, basically. Yeah. Because I remember all that.
Right. A little more up to our speed.
Right.
Now, let's go over to Art of Animation, which is larger-than-life characters. What is some of the theming for anyone who maybe hasn't walked through there? I mean, take someone through the Cars section of Art of Animation.
Oh, it's incredible. And I think what's really cool, in every, if I'm correct, and correct me please if I'm wrong, in every suite section, like Cars and Nemo, well, I know for sure that the Lion King has this little like play area for the kids.
Yeah.
So, and I'm trying to remember if like Cars does, they can just go, and it's just so you feel really cool, even though that's outside, and then you go inside to the family suites. Yeah, the Cars section is so amazing. It almost reminds me of California Land, like where there's the life-size cars there.
Yeah.
I feel like you could drive them, but you can't. There's the Cozy Cone by the pool, and it looks a desert area. It's so cool.
Yeah, I mean it's a mini Cars Land from California Adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. And then they do now. The Cars area there really is like its own miniature land.
Yes.
I feel like. Now, I think the Lion King a little bit more, like you said, there's kind of that play area. There's the life size figures that are going across. You have Simba and Pumbaa and Timon that are going across that log and stuff, above like one of the entrances. Yeah. And you've got Scar around the corner, don't you? Yeah. And you can walk through. And then same thing. I mean, just the oversized theming of with the turtles and all the fish and everything in the Nemo area. I mean, is this really a vote? This is one that's almost a little bit of David versus Goliath. I don't see how you can not say Art of Animation takes this when it has created many lands. I mean, no other Disney resort has what this has. I get that the All-Stars have sections, and they are or Pop Century, 50, 60, 70, 80s, all that.
Right.
And I know that even the All-Stars have like a Mighty Ducks section and a Dalmatian section. But
I mean, that's like
these
Little
are kind
Mermaid
of lands,
too.
yeah.
And then you go over and you have big
even
giant
that, I know.
King Triton and Ursula. And I mean, it's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, that section looks like it was plucked straight out of an All-Star movie.
Yes, it does.
Back when you went into some more interior theming, it's what I wish the All-Stars were.
Yeah.
And when I love the refurbishment, and it was much needed. I wish they'd kept the sections themed interior wise.
Oh yeah.
And if all of them, it's my fear about when they redo Art of Animation and they do a refurb or they do whatever kind of update at some point, I'm afraid we'll lose the Little Mermaid rooms. And they could just get turned into exactly the layouts from all the other values.
Right.
Now, the exterior theming, I would say, would obviously stay the same, but I don't know what'll happen to the inside. And then, God forbid, I hope they're not dumb enough to refurbish suites and take away the indoor, the inside theming from that.
Oh, I hope
That
not
would
either.
be just absurd. But
Yeah.
But do you agree that we're both going with Art of Animation for?
Yeah,
that
I
one?
would say so.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on to rooms and overall comfort. What are the Pop Century rooms like for anybody who's not been in a Pop Century or any of the 3 All-Stars?
I just started to say, if you haven't been in Pop Century, if you haven't been in any of the All-Stars, and they haven't done the Art of Animation Little Mermaid rooms this way, did they?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
That's what I was just saying.
Okay.
That whenever they do, I hope that they don't. If they go to this layout, cool. I'm just afraid they're going to strip all the Little Mermaid theming, and it'll be very standard the way that these are.
Which is just I guess it's a full-size bed, correct?
They're queen beds. Both of them are queen beds.
Okay, I thought so. I was like, wait a minute. Queen-size bed that's in there. And don't fret when you see a table and chairs, 2 chairs and a table, that pulls down into a Murphy bed. It is funny. Even I have done a double take walking by windows, and I'm like, there's only one bed in there.
Yeah, you do at first.
And then I'm like, oh, wait, that's right. And then like now, especially for Jeremy and I, it is fantastic because we can sit at a table, we can eat, we can do whatever. I can do my makeup if I wanted to. And then we have a bed to sleep in, which is super nice when you just do have 2. When you do have 4, and you're keeping the bed down, my one thing is be careful because it comes out a little further, and every single time we hurt ourselves.
And it can get a little tight. I mean, it definitely turns into, when you have that Murphy bed up and you walk in, you're like, this is a value room? Wow, it's real roomy. But if that bed comes down, you're like, oh, okay. I see how this is the size of a value room.
Yep.
Now, we move over to Art of Animation. If we go to the standard rooms in the Little Mermaid, now those are still, I believe, full beds. They may have changed them to queen at some point. I'm not 100% sure. We have not stayed in them in some time.
It's been a very long time.
But the theming is great.
Yeah, it is.
You've got a clamshell kind of dresser. You've got teals and blues and purples. You've got Little Mermaid on the separator, the curtain and all for the bathroom, and the headboards are themed and seashells and artwork and all.
And didn't
they're
they
great.
put hardwood in and stuff, so it's not like there's no.
And those, I believe they did. So. Yeah. So and now and then the family
soft
suites.
refurb is whatever you call it.
Yeah, soft goods. But then talk about the family suites. You mentioned earlier that it's 2 bathrooms, full bathrooms, and sleep 6. But like, what else do you have in there?
Well, I mean, it's basically you walk into an amazing living area, which is a 4-person table. A couch, what do you call that? A wet bar?
Yeah,
is it because
because
wet?
it does have a sink. It has a larger fridge, a kitchenette, maybe even. It has a microwave. If you've stayed at Cabana Bay in the family suite, what they have at the front, it's similar to that.
Yep.
Larger fridge, sink, and then
your full bathroom. Yep. And just this nice living area, and that couch pulls out into a full to queen. I believe queens.
Yes,
I think they're all.
Yeah,
queens.
I believe all 3 are queens.
Queen bed. Your 4-person table pulls down to a queen bed, and then you go into this nice large area of your bedroom.
Yeah, I mean, it's a master bedroom.
You have a master bedroom, which is a king bed. Very much room enough for
those may be queen as well.
Okay,
I believe.
Either way, it seems nice.
Yeah, you have tons of space in there.
It's
a nice large room
where you could put a playpen if you need to, and you're not like, I don't feel like you're gonna trip over something.
Yep.
And then you have a nice larger bathroom with 2 sinks.
Yeah.
So
and now this is one where if the beds are out and down, it's still a pretty dang spacious place.
It is.
Now you're going to want to fold these up. You're going to want to have the couch and all.
Yep.
But, it is very spacious otherwise.
Yeah.
So, again, this makes it a hard, fair fight because of the family suites. Now, if we had to go and make a fair vote and only you and I are going, I would rather stay at Pop Century. Now, of course, it'd be wonderful for you and I to stay in a family suite. I'd love to do that sometime, just you and I.
Right.
But it wouldn't make any sense to do so, right? Where it's not like you and I are going, obviously we're going to sleep in that bed, but we're not going to go sit on that couch and watch TV and then go, hey, are you hungry? Yeah, let's go sit at the dining room table. And you know what I mean? Like you're not, unless
Right.
we were going for like a week,
Yeah.
then sure. So for you and I think Pop Century is actually kind of perfect.
Right.
But overall, for the sake of this game and Resort Wars, which one do you think takes the win?
Well, Art of Animation, of course, but also if we were comparing them to Pop and Art and just what
Standard
we would have
rooms?
formed in this, I'd
Pop
pick
Century.
I'd put Pop Century.
Pop Century would win over the standard Little
100%.
Mermaid rooms. Yes, 100% agree with that.
Yeah, I don't know how to.
But it's still clear that, you know, even if you want to look at some of that kind of like just the rooms and the comfort, I would still rather stay in a Little Mermaid room over a Pop Century room, other than the fact of the bed size and the layout. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, we wouldn't need that extra bed. That's
exactly.
the hard part.
That's the thing. If they do convert this and all they do is say, you know what, we're going to take this one bed out and we're going to turn it into the Murphy fold down.
Right.
Everything else is staying the same in this room.
Yeah.
That room wins for me.
Yeah.
And the square footage on those might even be
A little bigger.
no, I think might even be a little bit smaller. I'm just trying to think of being in the room, not looking at an actual layout.
Right.
Because the furniture in there is a little bit larger than life, you know, so I don't know if it's just taking up more space, but the theming in there is just wonderful. All right, let's move over to dining and drinks. We've got the Everything Pop food court, which has a huge variety of things. They're known for their tie-dye cheesecake. And then you have Art of Animation at Landscape of Flavors. So a lot of these do cross over, and they both have, I feel like, an eclectic blend of cultures and years and decades.
Yeah.
Which is cool. Now you have the Pedals pool bar over at Pop, and then the drop-off pool bar over at Art of Animation. What are your thoughts on these
Both
two?
outside the pool.
Yeah, actually they are.
Which
Yes.
I know, but I'm just thinking, are they all across property outside the pool? I think they are.
Well, not some if you get over to like Kidani Village and some of those areas, but yes, many of them are outside of there. But anyway, what do you think of the two dining areas as far as these go?
Well,
you know, I mean, you can get everything from like Mongolian bowls and different
and
things.
I was going to say, I think they're both great and amazing, but I am not going to lie. Landscape of Flavors has always been like amazing, where we've even been at Pop and gone over to Landscape.
Yes.
So unfortunately, that's the one I'll be picking. I would assume you would agree.
Yeah, I think it can almost be a draw. I think Landscapes of Flavor used to have an advantage the same way that the food at Kronos Club had such an advantage. Like, I don't know if a conversation had one time where people were like, somebody was like, hey, people are constantly coming from Pop Century to Landscapes of Flavor because the food is so much better.
True.
Because if you look at the menus
right.
now, they're about 60 to 70% the same. And then they each have some varying items.
They must have had a conversation because you're right. I mean, and we used to do that
Man,
years
that
ago.
surf and turf burger.
That was the best thing ever.
Was so good there.
Yeah,
like, they used to have a lot more inventive stuff.
Yeah, so I guess you're right. I guess it's just been a hot minute since we've been there.
Yeah.
I guess I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is almost a draw. I'm going to...
Cheesecake's really good.
The cheesecake is good at Pop. I
We've
love
eaten
that.
quite a few times.
Yes. And I'm going to give my nod, if you want to agree, Marianne, who's married to Derek Bell, their son Noah. We haven't met Marianne in person yet, even though we've gotten to meet Derek a couple times now. We've met Noah. They're at Pop right now, and they arrived yesterday, and she had posted that they had basically a Thanksgiving meal. Turkey, stuffing, it looked incredible. It looked like the one that you get during International Festival of the Holidays over in America at the booth.
Oh, that's awesome.
Just in a full-size plate. And she said it was outstanding. So I'm going to give the nod over to Pop.
Yeah,
and they're going to get their first couple of 1 point here, right?
Yeah, poor thing.
Because next is an interesting one. We're going to move on to transportation and park proximity. Now, here's the thing.
Oh.
They share the Skyliner.
Right.
Other than that, they have buses going to, Magic and Animal, right? Mm-hmm. The Skyliner is pretty much dead center between the two resorts.
Right.
So what are your overall thoughts, I guess, on if one gets a nod or the other? Like, I have a thought, for example.
Okay.
If you were staying in a just a standard room, you're not preferred, whatever, at Pop Century, right? Mm-hmm. And you're a little bit further. Like, I'm thinking of, is it the 90s? That's okay. If you're facing the front of Pop Century, I feel like the 90s is over to the left.
Okay.
I believe, and that's where the computer and all is, right? One of the further buildings from the Skyliner station. Mm-hmm. Would you rather stay there, or would you rather stay in one of the Little Mermaid rooms? As far as proximity to the Skyliner.
Because they're both far.
Yeah, but that Little Mermaid room, I feel like, is further. And if it's not, it sure feels like it.
Yeah.
It feels like a hike. As well as the fact that there's kind of like a shortcut at Pop Century, the All-Stars, the way that they're laid out, I feel like.
Yeah.
Where we've been in those rooms, and you can kind of cut across a little bit of a parking lot back to the front of the resort and go right into dining and all. You can't really do that over at Art with Little Mermaid. So again, when you're getting to the bus stations, because even as big as these are, they're not multiple bus stations the way there are at moderates.
No, and literally, if you want to go to Epcot or Hollywood, you have to go on a Skyliner.
Correct.
So it's not like you could be like, golly, that's a long walk.
The bus
I'm
is
just
closer.
going to walk to the bus.
Right.
You can't.
Yeah, you can't even do that. So
you only can go to Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom on the buses.
Right.
And Disney Springs and Typhoon and all that. But
and again, without pulling up a map and like measuring it, the walk, I feel like the walk from the furthest room at Little Mermaid section is still further than the walk from the furthest room you could get at Pop Century.
Yeah, I would say Pop.
I give my nod to Pop.
Yep.
And sounds like you agree with that one. One that certainly we could try and test sometime. We'll go do that walk and see.
Okay.
And here's another thing. If you are staying in the Little Mermaid rooms and it is late at night and you're coming back from a park and you have the young children and I'm going to carry one of them and you think, hey, there's a Pop Century bus. We'll just take that one.
Oh, yeah, don't do that.
And walk over because they are close enough. Don't do it. Just wait for that Art of Animation bus because that was the most miserable walk ever. Mm-hmm. That one time I had to do that carrying one of the kids. Oh, it was so bad, but I did
the whole time.
And it was just like at the end, you just want to die. And this was coming from Magic Kingdom. I don't believe it was a party, but we had definitely been like a close the park down after fireworks type thing. Yeah. It was rough. Okay, let's move to recreation and amenities. This is going to put up the Hippy Dippy Pool, which might have the best name on property for their pool over there at Pop. You also have two smaller pools over there. Of course, you have that jogging trail all the way around Hourglass Lake. At Art of Animation, we got the Big Blue Pool, which is the largest pool at WDW as far as gallon-wise.
Okay, I started to say even bigger than Stormalong?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Themed playground over there, that kids section over there. And then, of course, you still have the jogging trail that it's connected to as well. So what do you think? I mean, this is an unfair one.
I know, because I love the Big Blue Pool.
I mean, Big Blue Pool is in conversation for top 3 pools, top 5 pools on property.
Yeah.
You know?
And used to, and I don't know if it still does, played music underneath.
It does not anymore.
It does not?
Yeah,
Okay.
after they did that whole drain and they redid everything, they don't have the music anymore, unfortunately.
They did, though,
which
and that was really
super cool. But yeah, it's got a wonderful kids play area for little kids.
Does. So pretty.
I don't see how you don't do this one.
Yeah.
Again, this is a resort we've not stayed at in a while and been able to check out, so somebody can update me. At one point, they did Movies Under the Stars out on the lawn there, right between the little Finding Nemo building. Yeah. Finding Nemo, yeah. And the Lion King. Then you remember they had moved it inside of the gate because it is Magic Band. I don't know where it's at now, but it was really cool when it was out there on the lawn.
Yeah.
That was at the point. That was back if you go when we've always talked about the Pop Secret.
Yep.
And
I started to say if they were getting the popcorn.
Do you remember what else they used to do there? They handed out like yoga mats basically that you could sit on because it was all grass.
Yes.
So a lot of the ones, like I think of the All-Stars, they do them by the pool. They set up all of the pool chairs, and you can go. Movies even has their own dedicated watch area.
Yeah.
That I think it's called Real Screen or Screen something there. But yeah, this one, because it was all in an open field, man, you could get a big bag of Pop Secret popcorn and a yoga mat and just lay on that sucker and watch movies on that big screen. It was the best. But yeah, we definitely got to give that recreation one to Art. All right, our final one that we're going to talk about is value for the money.
Okay.
So Pop Century is obviously generally cheaper. Even when you look at the Little Mermaid rooms, Pop can often still be cheaper than the Little Mermaid rooms.
Yes.
Of course, the family suites at Art are more expensive.
Right.
But let's talk about value. Let's talk about the price of a family suite here compared to where can you spend that amount of money and have 6 people with 2 full baths and a kitchenette? Other places on property, you know. Are you doing 2 rooms over at Pop? It could still maybe be cheaper than one family suite.
Yeah, that's where it gets hard because I bet it would be.
Yeah.
And then with that, you get the exact same. If you do 2 rooms,
yes,
you get 2, 4, 6. You get you get 8.
You do get 8 people.
You
so
get
you can
8
bump it up to
people.
8 if you have a larger party at Pop.
And then 2 bathrooms.
Yeah.
You're just not getting that fun themed area. And then usually you could probably get the connecting rooms so you could keep the room
Correct.
open.
Yes, you could keep it open. We know our friends Russell and Claire here, that's what they do now. They'll get 2 connecting rooms at Pop, and I think they pretty much just leave that door open. And you got like almost a room for adults, room for kids. Yeah, I think I have to come down to the fact that I don't think the Little Mermaid rooms are a value at all. I think they're overpriced.
I agree.
I don't think they should be more expensive than a Pop room.
No.
Now, it's, again, that's understandable going, all right, that's really looking at the rooms, but now what if Pop Century had the big blue pool? Right. You know what I mean? How much would those rooms be? So, you know what I'm saying? So you kind of look at it that way. I mean, you can't beat the value of those family suites, especially if you find them on a AP rate, on a, whatever holiday, summer, whatever kind of rates,
right.
that Amy, our wonderful travel advisor with MEI Travel, is finding you.
Absolutely.
It's hard to beat. But, again, I don't think the Little Mermaid rooms are much of a value.
I would say Pop. I'm going to
Pop?
say Pop because, I mean, even though, but we're never looking for those.
I know. And it's not that we're talking about, dollar per square foot. We're not talking about what is it, the value per square footage. We really are thinking about an overall value. Because here's the other thing. All right, just say we're at All-Star, okay, for a trip coming up. And Amy, new rates come out. And Amy, which your travel advisor will do for you.
Oh, this is amazing.
When new rates come out,
100%.
you don't have to deal with it and worry about it.
100%.
Amy will take care of it for you.
Absolutely.
But let's just say those new rates come out, and Amy hits me up and says, hey, you can upgrade to Pop or you can upgrade to Art. Here are the 2 different prices. The price is going to be better at Pop, and that's the one we're going to end up upgrading to.
Yeah,
even if it's a killer deal on a family suite at that moment, we're not going to go to that because even though the value is good for 6 people, not everybody has 6 people. So I look at it our family. Our family of 4,
and then
value-wise, would not get a family suite.
Right. But then we always will have 2 more, so we would need the 2 rooms because not only 6, I shouldn't say 4, 2 more, 4 more.
Yeah.
So we would want the 8 because
it would still make more sense.
It still would for us.
And at that point, then you're going, okay.
We get 2 rooms.
Then what? Do we get 2 Little Mermaid rooms? Heck no.
No.
But 1 family suite wouldn't suffice.
Correct.
So now you're talking 2 family suites. Now your value really kind of goes out the window. So I think we're going to go with Pop on that one.
Again, this is for us.
Yes. This is for us talking about this one. So let's look at where we are before we go to kind of that final round. We have so far, how many got? Art of Animation took theming and atmosphere. It took rooms and comfort. It took recreation and amenities. Pop.
3 for 3.
Yep. Took value for money, transportation and park proximity, and dining and drinks. So we are at 3 to 3, which means we have to go to our, I guess it would be our round or our tiebreaker, which was a poll that we put out in the Main Street Magic community on Facebook. We said, Which value resort wins your vote? What were the results? I am very surprised.
With a whopping 71% goes to Pop Century.
Yeah.
Art of Animation had 29%.
Yeah. So let's read some comments from our wonderful travel advisor, Amy. What did she say?
She actually said Pop gets her vote as well. AOA is too much for her.
What about Liv?
Liv said Pop has a better layout and walking is entertaining and educational. I like that.
And that goes back to those Little Mermaid rooms. Like Pop is much easier when you go, I want to walk out in the morning and look at all the little placards, marquee sign things. Like it really is easier to navigate. Then Teresa said, we have little kids, so the theming of Art of Animation can't be beat. We're planning to stay there. And yes, this is very true as well.
100%.
You know,
yes.
And that's why I love having these conversations, because we could technically go, you know, Resort Wars, Family Edition, Resort Wars, couples only,
100,
you know, resort, like
100%.
multi-generational, like that's one where we can really get down into it.
That's why I said,
and that's what makes it fun.
It's for us.
Yeah.
Because I knew, like Teresa having younger kids, that would be completely Art of Animation for her.
Yeah. Yeah. She says our boys will be 5 and 1, and it makes sense with the splash pad and big pool, blue pool. Heck yeah, it does. And if you are able to, and if you're able to get in the car suite, you know, most likely they will absolutely love it. So yeah, she's saying they're going to bring an extra adult, so the family suite is perfect for the space for their family of 4 plus, you know, a grandparent, aunt, uncle, whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm. It is. It is perfection.
Yep. And that's where it comes down. And same thing, you know, if we weren't staying at the cabins this coming weekend, we would have to look somewhere basically like Art of Animation in a family suite. For the most part.
But then in reality, my brain would go, gosh, though, if we could stay at Pop and get 2 rooms, because unfortunately just Cassidy's coming, because in the cabins only sleep 6, just like the Art of Animation, which we only get Talon and Cassidy, which kind of sucks, because then literally Lacey would bring probably Alex and Alexia.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, that'd
and
be
you'd
fine.
have to expand to that anyway. So then Michelle says Pop Century is great if you have 3 guests or less, and most rooms are more conveniently located than the Little Mermaid rooms at Art of Animation, just like we've been saying. Prices tend to be cheaper in standard rooms, and the Little Mermaid section are often excluded from the promotions. Another great point. Suites at AOA are great if you have more guests, but you can often get 2 adjoining rooms at Pop for the same price or less. Perfect. Angela said the value, I'm guessing she's talking about Pop Century. We stayed there last December, and it was so amazing. The cast members were super friendly and helpful and gave my twins stickers and always called them Princess. The lobby with all the shadow boxes was neat. My husband found a computer that he had as a kid. That is one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
How many times have I gone there? The Mickey Mouse phone that I got for selling the most poinsettias once when I was in elementary school, but jokes on them. My dad was a principal, and so he just took the form into his break room at school, and all the teachers bought them because they're like, that's my boss, I got to buy him from his kid. And so funny. I won and got that Mickey. And then it's also outside the big huge statue, but the one in there is great. And of course, the larger-than-life Baloo statue was my twins' favorite. They said the bare necessities the whole trip. We will definitely stay there again. So that type of theming, and depending on what you love, you know, as far as that goes. What did Ellen have to say, Rhonda?
She said if you want the nice suites at AOA, you aren't paying value prices. So for the value and, come on, the adorable retro themes, what brings back your own childhood, I would choose Pop.
And it's a good point that she says about you're not paying value prices, because we can talk about the room being a good value, but I can't tell you how many times I see in Facebook books or social media, because they just see the big picture. Somebody goes, I'm looking at Art of Animation and Pop, and the rooms at Art of Animation are twice as much. I don't get it. I thought it was a value resort. And then every comment is, well, they have suites. That's probably, you know. Yep. So you're right, though. On the big picture, when you don't know what you're doing, another reason to use a travel advisor is they're going to know those things, because it would be easy for someone just looking to go, wow, Art of Animation is so much more expensive, I don't want to stay there. or
Right.
the old bait and switch where Art of Animation pops up and you go, $220 a night? Wow. Oh yeah, that's the Little Mermaid room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because obviously they're going to show the lowest price to start.
100%.
So then you go in. Chuck, we've heard of this guy. Amy's wonderful husband. What did he have to say?
He says, I'll take pop as much as I love AOA. I love the retro feel and the comments. I love the retro feel and second the comments about Baloo. He's one of my favorite characters.
All right, 2 more comments. One from Matt.
Location and price outweigh theming to me. The preferred rooms at Pop are just hard to beat in my opinion.
Yeah, something we didn't talk about. When you look at the All-Stars or Pop Century, the preferred rooms and pricing often isn't very different from the standard. It's not a lot more.
Right.
For us personally, we will usually still save the money and we'll do a standard. But because you can't, and I think of somebody who might be going for a week or 10 days, that can actually save a lot of money at night. And I don't think the standard locations are as bad. But if you had somebody that had accessibility issues, you may want to still make sure you're in preferred. And then finally, we got a comment from Kaylee.
This is tricky. As a couple, I'd always pick Pop over AOA just based on rooms, but I love the theming at AOA. Not sure how to vote based on that. And that, again, that's where you're right, Kaylee. Again, like Jeremy said, we could totally do, Resort Wars for a family, for couples, you know.
I mean, even a family with kids between the age of this and this.
Correct.
Teenager, all of that. But it's kind of the perfect comment to end on because it just shows how hard it can be to pick between the two. Especially when we said the same thing earlier. Like, as far as just the two of us, right now, the layouts at Pop Century and the All-Stars is one of our favorite room layouts there is. Not counting DVCs because obviously those are similar.
Right.
It's just perfect. So we will pick Pop Century most every time.
And that is the final winner.
Yeah, it is. It is the final winner. So Pop Century wins with a final score of 4-3.
Congratulations.
And
that was
first
only
Resort Wars.
A tiebreaker.
I know.
I mean,
it had to come down to that tiebreaker, which was fun. So we'll have these coming out, and we'll sprinkle these throughout over the next couple of weeks and months and all. And we'll always try to do ones that are like synced up a little bit. Like it'd be real fun to do the Port Orleans resort battle of Riverside versus
100%.
French Quarter.
100%.
And then we can always do a Coronado versus Caribbean Beach style. Speaking of. Very, very excited. With this upcoming weekend, we are staying at the cabins at Fort Wilderness and the DVC cabins.
Yes,
but then the following weekend for food and wine, we're going to be staying at Caribbean Beach. It has been, I believe, a good 2 years or something, I think. It's been a while. So we're super excited for that, for the opening of food and wine.
Yeah.
If you want all that content, you got to hit subscribe, and you will get it every single Tuesday and Friday. Of course, Ron and I would be super duper thankful if you could also leave us a rating and review.
Because it helps our show grow.
That's all we've got, and we'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.